Pizza in Marshall, Texas for our final segment on ETBU Extra. I'm MIdkiff along with Jason Souls, and now visiting with Adam Ledyard, the Sports Information Director at ETBU. And Adam, in our last few minutes here on the show, we want to talk about the volleyball game that was played last night. Coach Mash couldn't join us today. Kind of recap what happened. I know what happened because I was there, and it was loud.
It was very loud. It was a great atmosphere to play in, and the volleyball team is in contention for a conference championship. They only have one loss, and coming into last night, UT Tyler had one loss. So it was a big match. They got 4 straight matches here in Ornelas Gym, and last night was the first. They came out and won set 1 and then set 2 and then put them away in set 3 and swept UT Tyler to improve to 5-1 in the conference. Had over 200 and some fans there last night. The gym was rocking. ETBU's 19th in the nation in attendance, and we're trying to push that up in the top 10. But it was a great match to watch last night. A lot of support from all the teams and students at ETBU coming out and cheering on these Tigers.
Suzanne Henson is the head volleyball coach for the University of Texas at Tyler. She was Suzanne Wingrove when she was the volleyball coach at ETBU from 2001 to 2005, and she actually coached Lindsay Mash, the head volleyball coach at ETBU now. So I was kind of watching how that reaction was going last night, the former player having a victory over her former coach. Of course, Suzanne has been a very, very successful volleyball coach at ETBU. And it was just a great atmosphere. Now they have won, I believe, 15 straight matches at home, the Lady Tigers, going back to 2012. That's a nice string.
Yeah, they haven't lost in an Ornelas Gym since 2011, and that was to UT Tyler. They only played 4 matches last year at home due to the conference scheduling and the pods that they played. And so this year they have several more matches at home. But dating back to 2012, they've won 15 straight in Ornelas Gym. And that's kind of been the tradition under Coach Mash back in, I think it was 2007, 2008. They were in the top 5, and I even think led the nation in attendance one of those years. So she does a really great job of generating an atmosphere, getting her student athletes involved with other student athletes and athletes on campus to get everybody coming and rally around them in Ornelas Gym.
I want to give you some time to talk about our cross-country program, the other fall sport that is in season right now. What can you tell us about the men's cross-country and the women's cross-country team in our final minutes here on ETB Sportsnet on the ETB Extra?
Well, talking to Coach Natalie earlier this week, every week the teams have improved their times. And this last weekend they ran a tough course up in Tennessee at Rhodes College against some stiff Division I, II, and III competition, regional competition. And she goes to these meets to get them prepared for the conference championship. On the men's side, Landon Price helped his time increase by 10 seconds. Ian Spencer also increased his time. On the women's side, Shelby Taylor almost broke the 6K record for the women's record there. She was 11 seconds shy of that. Madison Kaufman improved her time by 1.5 minutes in the 6K, which is unheard of. So
Yes,
so every week the teams are improving their times, and that's the goal for Coach Natalie, that by conference time that they're at their peak and they can finish in that top 3 or 4 of the conference championships, which nobody at ETBU has ever done as a team.
Well, today on ETB Extra, we've talked football, we've talked soccer, we've talked volleyball, and we've talked cross-country. Last thing I want to talk about is you went to a meeting in Dallas on Monday for the Student Athletic Advisory Council. Kind of tell me what that is and what happened at that meeting Monday, and who are our representatives from ETBU that was there with other conference representatives.
The SAC committee is what it is they are the representatives from each team. There's one person from every team that represents ETBU athletics to ETBU. If anything comes up between coaches and players or ETBU and athletics, that they're the voice of the athletes. And they help with things on campus. They put on special events, Division III week. We do Make a Change week, some community service things that those athletes do, and there's one from every team. Going to Dallas was Miranda Westbrook from the softball team, and then we also had Amanda Rucker from the women's basketball team go. Tyler Tolopko was supposed to go, but he was still playing in the IT regional tournament in Tyler, so he could not make it, which was a good thing because the tennis team is doing phenomenal in the fall. But we went there, we met other Division III, from our conference, American Southwest Conference, reps from the SAC committee, learned about what SAC really does, what other schools have done the last year, the different events they did, and kind of talked about the American Southwest Conference and what we're doing as a whole this year for community service as a 2-week period in February. So we had another speaker come in that was a former student athlete and what she's doing now, how she's moved up into the professional world 2 years, 3 years after being out of college and playing tennis at a school. So it's very well educated event for our athletes to go to and learn from each other.
Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of ETBU Extra live from CC's Pizza in Marshall, Texas. Join us again next Wednesday at high noon. If you're in Marshall, Texas, come by and eat lunch with us. $5 to eat the buffet, all you can eat, which includes the drink. And Adam, we've talked football, as I said. We've talked soccer. We've talked cross country. We've talked volleyball. And we'll do the same next week. Thank you for clicking in this afternoon for the E2 Extra Show. We'll see you next Wednesday. So long from CC's Pizza in Marshall, Texas.